Mad Dog, and he's taken on a guy you nicknamed many months ago, Starvin Marvin Smith, out of Arnold, Missouri, the Stomper 2 Chevrolet.
Hi, my name is Marvin Smith. I'm from Arnold, Missouri. I'm the driver of Stomper 2 behind me. This truck has been on the circuit for approximately 5 years now. I've driven it for 5 years. It was originally called the Crimson Giant until I changed the name over to Stomper. This truck is powered by a 468 cubic inch big block Chevrolet blown with an 871 blower and 2 Predator carburetors. This truck here, since it's been the Stomper truck, it hasn't rolled yet, knock on wood. But the other Stomper truck, Stomper 1, about a year and a half ago, driven by Mike Witt, was rolled over in Charlotte, North Carolina in a competition, and also again in Louisville, Kentucky, back in the summer racing against Bigfoot in the semifinals. Thank goodness nobody's been hurt in any of these trucks yet. They're all very, very safe. They're equipped with roll bars and every safety factor that we can put into them.
I just noticed something. The first 4 monster trucks that go in competition, all out of the Show Me State of Missouri. Mad Dog will be lining up on the right side. Sitting to his left, the Stomper 2, Marvin Smith. Starvin Marvin, like you said a moment ago, carrying that Stomper color Chevrolet side by side. The winner should be paired against Bigfoot. As he's already won, who's going to be the Chevrolet to go?
Back on the starting line. Next pairing in first round competition, here's Starvin Marvin Smith in the Stomper Chevrolet machine. He'll be coming up against Johnny K out of Lackawanna, New York, driving the Buffalo Trimmer.
Johnny K has a win under his belt this year in his rookie year. He's going up against one of the old pros, Marvin Smith. Smith on the far side, away from the camera. Johnny K nearer to the camera. Missouri going against New York, keeping on the Stomper, trying to come back on the other end.
The power of the superstars in monster truck racing on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge. Our next quarterfinal race will send the Clydesdale up against that man right there, one of the stories early on in 1990, Marvin Smith's Wild Hair. Now, those of you who've been following the sport here on Tough Tracks know that last year, Marvin Smith drove Stomper and Bob Breen drove the Wild Hair. But the Breens are involved with the new Micro Machine. A truck called the Micro Machine, driven by John Breen, will be coming out. So Marvin went with the Wild Hair.
Well, we're seeing a new Marvin Smith in more ways than one. A new truck and a new attitude. Marvin, let's talk about the attitude. At the end of '89, said you were tired of losing. You were going to make some changes. It looks like the changes are putting you in the right direction.
Yes, Army, that's exactly right. At the end of last year, that's what I said, and that's what we meant to do. We come out with an all-new truck, an all-new name. We lightened it, did suspension changes, and we're out here to win.
Let's talk about the new truck. First of all, the name, you brought that out. Wild Hair. The Breen boys out of Missouri used to run the name Wild Hair. Now you come over to it. This is the 3rd name that you've run as a professional monster truck. Tell us why.
Okay, well, as a lot of people know, I started out with a truck called the Crimson Giant, which will always be the dear one in my heart, because I started with that one. But then along came Stomper and a chance to get a sponsorship through Tyco Toy and TNT Sports, which I thought was a good deal, and I took it. Now we're moving on to different things, and we want a new image. And Stomper was a nice truck, but it was just a little bit, I felt like it was outdated, and so we want to come back with, like I said, with a new image and everything, rocking and rolling, so that's why we came out with Wild Hair. The Wild Hair used to be owned by the Breen boys out of Jefferson City, Missouri, the name Wild Hair. But we worked out a deal where I took over the name and didn't take it over, through negotiations, came up, started using the name Wild Hair.
Well, the crowd really seems to get behind you with that name. They love the truck. The paint scheme on the truck really looks great. Let's talk specifically about the truck. I understand you have a lot of fiberglass components on the truck. It's much, much lighter than the Stomper truck you drove last year.
Yes, it sure is. It must be, I know it's 1,000, 1,500 pounds lighter. We got a fiberglass bed, front end, doors, and just numerous parts. So we kept a few steel parts, but not a lot. I tell you what, it's like an all-new ball game now with the suspension changes and the lightness, and it just drives totally different. But I like it.
Marvin Smith's Wild Hair, and another reason he chose this paint job and put it together like that is, talking about Micro Machines getting involved in the sport, actually sponsoring a truck. Well, they intend to make Micro Machine toys in the likeness of a lot of trucks. And Marvin said, hey, I want one that's going to stand out. Certainly, the Wild Hair is standing out. It is the wild thing right now.
Yeah, so all the kids around America, by the end of the year, are going to be able to have their own monster truck circuit and their own play boxes. Right now, speaking of play boxes, going to be the awesome Marvin Smith in a new truck. He's 2/10 quicker than the Clydesdale, and it's showing. Look at this.
Beaten by a full length, Marvin Smith, the Wild Hair, continues to impress with the way he is running in Charleston, West Virginia. He's not backing off one iota. Earlier he smacked the wall, but he put it back together and has moved into the Final Four. Wild Hair will be coming back against either Mopar Magic or conceivably the Gravedigger. But that's down the road right now. Marvin Smith said it's a brand new year and it's a brand new me. He's changed his name. He's changed the way his truck looks. The Wild Hair is something else.
He's also changed his whole attitude. There's just a difference about him, a confidence that was not there. At the beginning of last year, we started to see that confidence coming around at the end of the year. As a matter of fact, in Atlanta, when he made some changes in the transmission, and the truck really started going. Speaking of going, this Thunder Chicken comes from out of nowhere. Kid Raring, a strong charger out of the Northeast.
Time to beat is 4.59, set down by the Gravedigger. Good runs there.
Both of these, everybody is dialed in. This year, look here, 5:09 and a 4:56.
That's fast time. Marvin Smith has laid it down in the Wild Hair.
That's the new Marvin Smith we were talking about. Not only new paint, but a new philosophy and newfound horsepower.
And he has laid down the fast time. Marvin Smith is the man to beat in the Wild Hair, doing the wild thing in Charleston. In the Charleston Civic Center, Charleston, West Virginia. And here's the guy making the noise in race number 1. Wild Hair, Marvin Smith, the new paint job, the new name, looking like he just stepped off a music video. I'll tell you what, though, he has made some noise tonight, setting down the fast qualifying shot. His opponent in this first matchup of 1990 will be the Thunder Chicken and Kid Raring.
Marvin Smith sits on top at a 4:56. He said, if you're going to beat me, you better take it to the wall. They go to the starting line right now, side by side. Kid Raring, the sleeper, during all 1989. Can he do it again? Marvin Smith says no. He's going to run me, got to run me all the way to the end of the building. The pressure's building, Scott. Here we go. First run of 1990. Who's going to be the first winner? Wild Hair or Thunder Chicken?
The chicken wins it. The chicken.
Oh, we've got problems, Scott. In the wall. He's in the wall down here.
Wild Hair has smacked the wall in the Charleston Civic Center. Marvin Smith on his first run beaten by Thunder Chicken, but his problems were at the shutdown. Look at this as he has come through the wall at the Charleston Civic Center. Oh, my.
Marvin's okay. The truck, he takes a killer box out. They've got concrete blocks up there in front. He just didn't get it shut out in time. That shows you the intensity of this racing, man. It's no game. These guys are here to win. They're pushing it to the limit. I told you a minute ago, he said, if you're going to beat me, you got to go to the wall. There's the wall.
Wow, well, I'll tell you, the Renegades Point Fund has been increased to $150,000 for this year. Marvin Smith shows you they're going all out every time to get their share of it. Looks like, as we're getting... It looks like,
not a lot of damage. Yeah, the word we're getting is not a lot of damage to the truck, Scott.
That's about it. A broken shock, they're telling us, and really not much else for Marvin Smith. And we understand he thinks he'll be back.
Watch the bounce. This is what's going to get you on these short indoor tracks. Now, see, all the wheels are off the ground right now. Now they shut down. They're off the ground, on the ground. He's in trouble right now. You can't stop him when you're bouncing in the air, Scott.
Boy, and there you can see him bang into the wall at the Charleston Civic Center as Wild Hair leaves his impression in Charleston. Headed back to the pit, and again, Marvin says he thinks that only the shock is broke. You can see the bumper hanging off, but that's superficial. I think the Wild Hair's going to be back.
For Marvin now.
Marvin, not a very fun way to start 1990.
You know, Chris, I kind of enjoyed it. I mean, I didn't enjoy the ride, but at least, like I said, when we came out, we put on the show. It's what we're here for. It's what we're going to do.
Well, that bounce. One more time. Watch the bounce. See, in the air, down, bounces again. Guarantee you, Scott, the rest of the drivers were watching that bounce.
Boy, he kicked and just went smack hard into the wall as the work will continue to get that shock ready you know, Wild Hair did get beat, but this is a 12-truck race. What that means, Army, is several fast losers, 2 of them to be exact, will be coming back in the quarterfinal round. And Marvin
getting ready for the Wild Hair and Mopar Magic. Here's Gary Wiggins from Williamston, North Carolina, the Dodge known as Mopar Magic, and he'll go head-to-head with Starvin Marvin Smith, the old Stomper driver. Marvin is out in the Wild Hair Chevrolet.
We were talking earlier about all the new engines and everybody trying to catch up with Bigfoot number 8. Marvin Smith is going the same way the Outlaw 4 did. He's trying to step up through horsepower. A lot of horsepower, new supercharged alcohol-burning engine. Let's see what he can do with this Dodge.
He was the 3rd fastest qualifier. That was a surprise. We'll see if he can back it up in racing.
Boy, the Dodge is running good. Mopar Magic making him work for it, but Wild Hair looks like he's going to take the big win in the next round on a very skinny track, Scott. Very skinny, yeah.
You're right. Marvin Smith gets the win, but boy, the Mopar Dodge did push him. Here they'll come to the finish once again, and Marvin Smith legs it out by about 3/4 of a truck length to give the Wild Hair the victory. That'll push him into the second round. Mopar had a good run. He may come back later as a fast loser. There's Marvin Smith hopping out of the truck, and Army Armstrong's headed over to talk to him. Army?
Well, Marvin, 3rd quickest qualifier on a real wild track. It kind of seems like the wilder the better in your case.
I don't know about that, Army. It's really a tough track out there. The thing you got to watch out for when you come off that first set of cars, you got to make sure that you're lined up. The lane that I'm running, it has a little curve at the end. If you ain't lined up just right, it's wall time. So you got to make sure you're just right.
Qualifying is so important because that's going to give you the lane choice the rest of the evening and to keep you where you want to go.
Exactly. That's what I was shooting for. I was hoping, you know, to stay over there as long as I can, because I actually turned my wheels in the air that time before I came down, because I wanted to shoot the other way, because it was actually headed for the guardrail.
Here you see what Marvin's talking about. That little bounce shot him toward the guardrail, but he's laying forward, hooking up here. Marvin Smith, Arnold, Missouri, the Wild Hair Chevrolet against that man, the world champion driver a year ago, the driver of the year, David Morris, but now in a new truck for him, the no-problem Ford Bronco.
Last week, Morris got the Ford Bronco into the wall. Wild Hair just dominates this run. Marvin Smith, a lot of confidence there, Scott.
It never happened for David Morris, and no problem, as that truck just never got anything going at all. Handling problems, again, appear to be it. David Morris just can't seem to get a handle on that truck. And the Wild Hair got quite a wild ride. Watch the end of the run for Marvin Smith. Goodness, kind of a bucking Bronco.
Yeah, he almost overloaded on the nose. They call it high side. Morris has got a slow steering truck. John Moore admits that. David Morris is just getting time in the seat.
Army's over with Marvin Smith. Here he is now.
Marvin, real quick, in sports terminology, it looked to me like you may have gotten your bell rung on that run.
Yes, I did, Army. It hit pretty hard on the side of the roll cage there.
Did you actually?
I think I rode a wheelie for pretty good ways, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, but you had to keep the thing planted on the ground.
Okay. Yeah, I rung my bell a little bit. I hit the cars there and got in the hole, and it started up. I had to nail it and bring it back out. And when I did, it just, you know, I had to stand it up.
You got Marvin Smith in a Wild Hair. Brand new truck, brand new everything. He said, I've changed my name, I've changed my luck. I'm going to be a player this year. So, Scott, it's going to be kicking off big in 90. Starts right now.
Across there first.
As Marvin Smith takes the win, moving violation will take on Wild Hair, and the winner will be paired with the Hulk.
Yep, everything's ready. We got to line them up, see who gets to run the Hulk.
Moving now into the final 3 races of the evening, Wild Hair and moving violation. A pair of Chevrolets. Starvin Marvin Smith out of the state of Missouri. And from the south side of Chicago, top Brian Wells in the moving violation. A pair of Chevrolets ready to go.
Marvin got some sparks out of there. Brian broke something, I believe.
But you can see some damage on that truck. Brian Welch in a great race, but what happened?
Well, what happened is with the short arena, we hit the brakes a little truck was going too fast for too much brakes. We bent both front hangers. We pushed the axle back. It took us out of the race for this weekend.
All right, moving violation, a winner, but with a buckled front end, cannot continue tonight. running these trucks on the edge. So it looks like the Hulk has come up lame, but if Wild Hair can make this run, he'll be the Hulk could not start, and that is Wild Hair as a champion. Well, amid all the smoke and the antifreeze, he's going to be climbing out. He's a happy man, though. The winner here, Marvin Smith. Marvin, come down here just a minute. I don't know if the Wild Hair could make it any more, Marvin, but you look happy.
I don't know. I think we could have won another round if we had to. We just do all we got to do and get it done. That's all there is to it.
The Hulk, well, you knew he was sour, but your motor didn't go sour. Didn't see him until you're at the line.
Nah, my motor's fine. It's just a little bit hot, that's all. It's been there a lot of times. Many years I've been doing this, and, you know, I've been a lot of rounds, and I just keep running and running until we get it done. That's all there is to it.
You ran just as hard because he was there or wasn't there.
That's exactly right. I don't even think about the guy on the other lane. I just rip and roar. Let her go.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
All right, as the plaque gets awarded to Marvin Smith, the winner